everyone. My name is Shawn Jones, and I'm the CEO of the iNetrapreneur Network. And today I have with me an individual who is incredible. She works with clients to help them get centered from the inside out. She is the owner of Serene Yoga. I have with me today Teresa Porter. Teresa, welcome.
Hi, Shawn. Great to be here.
So, Teresa, we know what yoga is, but I am a big advocate of getting to know the individual behind the business. Tell us a little bit about your background before we talk about the studio that you own.
Sure. So before I became a yoga instructor, I became a massage therapist. So each modality that I've gotten into and I specialize in, there's my own journey, my own healing that led me down that road that made me want to learn that modality. So just a quick, when I was in 8th grade, I was in a car accident. At the time I was a gymnast and I couldn't do gymnastics anymore. I couldn't go do 8th grade PE anymore. So I started going to all these naturopathic doctors, including a massage therapist. And so I was intrigued at how my body could heal innately on its own versus when I was going to these Western doctors compared to these natural doctors. And by my sophomore year in high school, I knew I wanted to be a massage therapist. But I had a couple people that were naysayers saying it's not a real profession, it's not a steady income. Well, I listened to them about a year. Long story short, I ended up going to the school I had already checked out. I knew I wanted to go, but then I put it on the back burner because I listened to the naysayers in my life. And I ended up going to massage school. And one of the big people that were promoting that was, at the time I was dating my husband, and he said, "You won't stop talking about massage school. You've checked it out. You should go do it. Just do it already." So he helped push me into that. And long story short, I graduated from massage school in '99, and I've been practicing since. That led me to yoga. So I started getting into yoga to help relieve the tension from my upper body, right from massaging. And then when I had my first daughter in 2002, I had severe back pain and it wouldn't go away. The doctors couldn't diagnose me. I got MRIs. No one could tell what was going on with my back. So I was like, I know yoga is good for my back. I've heard Pilates is good. So I'm going to go do this more regularly. And I really started getting into doing yoga to help heal my back and Pilates. And my back started feeling so much better that, again, I'm that why girl, like in class, like, okay, that works. Why? I have to know the why behind it. So I ended up going to Scottsdale Community College here in the Valley, and I got my teaching certificate in yoga and Pilates at the same time. And I've been teaching in the Valley since 2005. And so yoga is just a passion of mine because it's not only healed me, but I've learned how it can help people depending on what they want to get out of it. So I like to teach it like as a tool belt of solutions, that it's not one size fits all, right? So it's all depending on your goal, how much time you want to dedicate to it. And then from there, that's how I work with clients. You can use it in 5 minutes, you can use it for an hour. Either way, you're going to get benefits out of it.
Absolutely. You know, there is a lot to be said about listening to your body and looking inwards, whether it's your diet, what's going on in your head, listening to your muscles and your bones. And nowadays, a lot of the doctors out there, they just want to pop the pills. Oh, you need this prescription. How many do you want? And by the time you get done, you have a whole pharmacy in your pantry of pills. And through your own personal journey, you've really been able to heal yourself from the trauma that your body experienced in the car accident and then things that have happened since. With that being said, there's still a little bit of a mystery about Pilates and yoga. Some people are, all for it, like yourself, and others are kind of going, does that really work? What are the benefits from it? Or it's the woohooey, oh, you're one of those. What are some myths that you've heard in your business that you have helped to dispel and show others the benefits?
Well, I should say there's several, right? So one of them is the woo-woo, is that they think yoga is a spiritual practice, which it can be, right? And when I taught at one of the big gyms here at LA Fitness, I know some of my friends were trying to bring in their friends, and that was one of the things, is like, I can't do yoga, because of the religious background, they thought it would conflict. And yeah, it can be a spiritual grounding, like meditation practice, but it also could just be the physical aspect of it too. So again, like goes
Mhm.
back to what I said earlier, it could be whatever you make it. So it can be a physical or a spiritual practice, but it doesn't have to be by any means. So it can just be, that's where I like to teach people, use it as a tool belt of solutions depending on what you need for it. So if you need the more of the grounding, the breath work, the meditation aspect of it, then practice it in that way. If you're an athlete, and I've worked with a lot with athletes over the years, I love working with them because I love the mindset of like, oh, I don't know if this is going to really work for me, and I like to prove them wrong. So
Mhm.
that's just more of the physical part, and that's part of the myths I've kind of break too. Like I worked with football teams, I've worked with someone in the NFL, I've worked with bodybuilders, dancers, hip hop crews. Like I've worked with a lot of athletes, and that's where I like to really teach them. Yoga is going to help you for pre and post workouts. It's going to help prevent injuries. It's going to help shorten your recovery time. So there's a lot of ways that you can use it. But again, it's the education piece to like break those myths and people have it made up in their mind. And another one that I love that like kind of drives me crazy, honestly, I'm not flexible enough to yoga. Well, that's all the more reason why you need to do it. You know?
Yes. I would say, my own personal experience with yoga. So a gal that I knew, she was getting certified in the modality of yoga. And in order to graduate, she had to host a couple of classes and bring students together. So she basically used us to use her techniques and show us. And I had always thought, oh, I was very limber and I was capable. I have to tell you, after one session of yoga, I didn't realize I had muscles that were being underutilized. And that was powerful. And over time, I mean, it's proven, you prove it all the time with your clients, that consistency is key for
Absolutely.
that. And your muscles, when they're tight, they're strong. Your core, we hear about the core, they keep your bones in place. And so it's like a whole ecosystem within our own bodies. Now, Pilates, what is the difference between Pilates and yoga?
So there are some similarities, but the difference is, well, for one, I look at yoga as like an onion. There's like so many layers to it. Like you think you're getting to the meat of it, you think you've mastered it, and then there's like a whole other layer like you get to peel off and you get to like master. And Pilates to me is more like just a foundational way to strengthen your back and your core. So it's more of isometric small movements. So I'm trained in mat Pilates, but there's also the Pilates, what you do on the machine, the reformer machines too. And I also am trained in using the small exercise ball. So that's more of like isometric. So I like to use that in classes or when I'm working with someone that really wants to focus on strengthening their back and their core in a different way. And I like to blend the two together. So if I do the Pilates, I like to finish and elongate the muscles with using yoga poses because it is very contracting, short movements. So I like to use the yoga to like elongate and open it up after doing Pilates.
Now, you founded your business, Serene Yoga, and you did that because of your own journey and learning the different techniques that are out there. And you work with a variety of clients. Tell us about the clients. Why do they come to see you?
Well, I'm still practicing in my massage practice, which I've been doing that for 22 years. So I have a physical building in Tempe here that I work, and I see my massage clients. So they come to me obviously when they have aches and pains, but when I work with my massage clients, I really like to educate them. Like, why are you having this physical pain? What is it something that you're not looking at in your life, maybe emotionally, mentally, that you're not addressing? Because over time, if we don't address our mental and emotional states, it starts to manifest with physical issues, disease, dysfunction, breakdown in the body. And so that's what I've seen working with my clients. That's led me to the other modalities that I do. So I really like to educate them if they come in for massage, how can they use yoga to offset and not have to see me as much, right? That they can be proactive on their own. And vice versa, if I'm teaching in a yoga setting, that maybe they need some body work done, that they really complement each other. And so my clients kind of feed into different ways they come to me. And another modality I've gotten into is doing emotional release work. And it's with a modality called the emotion code. And it's a technique that a chiropractor came up with that he saw in his practice, that no matter what he did, they would keep going out the same area, keep having issues, right? And then that's when he started to listen to what the clients are saying. The same with me in my practice, like no matter what I did, the same area is going to go out. No matter how many times they came, different techniques, that area just would not release. And so I figured after hearing the stressors in their life, what's going on, that it was probably, or I've learned about past trauma in their life, that area, your muscles hold memory. And so
Yes.
I got into learning this emotional release technique, and that's, I use it to help them release the emotions that are contributing to either the physical issue or to like depression, anxiety. There's lots of different ways that I use it with my clients. So I see a wide range of clients. That's a very long-winded answer, but so I kind of blend the modalities together depending on what they come in for. So if they come in for massage and that release, I educate them on, okay, let's do yoga, or maybe you should try this emotional release technique. And sometimes I have my clients for 2.5, 3 hours. So they do the emotional release technique and then I work on them. So it works really well together.
One of the things that really seems to set you apart is not only do you focus on, isolated areas inside and out of the body, but you also provide coaching for your clients. Let's talk about the coaching, because that's unique in your industry. Usually, I mean, usually you have someone, I'm a massage therapist or I'm the yoga instructor, but you have found a way to really help your clients through what their pain is, because it's pain, whether it's the emotional, the physical, or the mental. Tell us about your coaching. What do you offer? What does that look like when somebody works with you? Is it just you give them a workbook and say, okay, I'll log into this website and you can see some free videos? Do you do hands-on? Do they come see you? Is it over Zoom? What do you do for your clients?
So my coaching program was really inspired from 22 years of working with my clients and seeing the same negative patterns over and over of where my clients would get stuck. So not only physically, right, but mentally and emotionally. And I saw how they all fed into each other. So they might be stuck in the way they're thinking about their finances or their relationships, and how that feeds into showing up physically in their bodies. And so I just kept seeing the same negative patterns over and over and over. And then with myself. But years ago, I decided to be proactive and work with a handful of coaches. I've been in programs. I'm always doing the self-development stuff, right? And and so from what I've gone through in all my programs and my journey, I kept seeing like the big stepping blocks that really helped propel me forward to move past those blocks. And so I just kind of reverse engineered what I went through and what I see my clients go through, and I created a 6-month program to help them release their subconscious blocks using the Porter method, which is I do the emotional release work, movement, which is primarily movement, yoga, and inner peace work. So I have modules online that I created with all of that, years of putting my ideas into a formula to help them release that. So I call it release, align, and reset, are kind of the stages that I take them through. So you have to be able to release your subconscious blocks, release what's holding you back, anxiety, depression, anger, abandonment, all of these emotions that are released when I work with them doing the emotion code, so they can align with who you are at the core, right? You have to clear all that shit out of the way so that you can figure out like who it is you are at the core, because so many people, especially parents, adults, get so caught up in taking care of doing for everybody else that they've lost who they are at the core. And so they don't know what they like anymore. They don't know what their interests are anymore. Like they don't do self-care anymore. And so that's a big component of my program. It's called the Unplugged program. So how do you unplug from all those old stories, all those identities that keep you repeating that same negative pattern? How do you unplug from that so you can align with yourself at the core, your authentic self, and then reset and create momentum and creating the results that you want in your life? So how I work with them is in group. I do groups and privates. So when I do privates, we meet bi-weekly, either person, but I work out clients that are not local. I do work via Zoom. So I do
Mhm.
emotion code sessions with them. We do movement. We do yoga poses to help release and open up their heart chakra, their root chakra. I do a lot of movement, guided meditation. And then the exercises and the modules really helps them to think through stuff, release stuff. So like I have one whole module on the art of being present. What does that look like? So again, that was years of seeing negative patterns of people constantly being on their phone, all the notifications going off in a yoga class. In a 60, 90-minute session, they have all their notifications on their phone, which they don't need to have that on. So you don't need to constantly be on, because when you are, it's creating adrenaline in your body. We don't need to be always multitasking when we eat, because your body can't really digest what you're eating. I mean, I've been guilty of that. Trust me. Working parent, you're always eating and working, right? You know,
Right.
so like the whole module is like, how can you be present throughout your day, throughout your week? And I give them exercises, challenges, how to do that. And another one is clearing your spaces internally and externally. So how do you have healing conversations with the people in your life you know you need to have a healing conversation with? How do you clearing up your physical spaces in your house so that you can be aligned with having good energy? Because if your house is cluttered, you have stuff you've been holding on to. Those are all, like I explain, as energetic cords, right? That are like pulling you to your past or distracting you, so you're not present. So I work with them for 6 months going through all of that.
That's incredible. Teresa, if somebody would like to maybe schedule an appointment for your body work, or they're interested in your coaching, how can they schedule a discovery call with you?
Well, they can go to my website, sereneyoga.com, and that's SIRRINE yoga.com. And you can see on there that I have like coaching on there. I have different ways, but there are also a couple of places on my website that they can that links to scheduling a call, or they can just email me at Teresa@serenestudio.com.
Teresa, I am really thankful for all that you're doing. I know more than probably a lot of people on how much pain and trauma can affect, and that emotional mind garbage, and how it can pull on your muscles and get stored up. And it's like whack-a-mole sometimes on us. You get one side of your body fixed and it latches on to another. And you, with your system, have created a way for people to have peace, true peace, from the inside out, and to really enjoy life and enjoy themselves and be more in the moment, because you've helped them release all of their anxiety and get them aligned. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing to help people.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I just get passionate about being able to share this, to let people know that there's lots of resources out there to help them heal.
Truly so. For those of you who have just watched the interview, I have interviewed Teresa Porter. She is the owner of Serene Yoga. She is also a speaker at the upcoming Art of Connection Summit, which is an online global summit for March 31st. If you want to watch Teresa, hear her more on stage, she's also going to be hosting several workshops throughout the event, so you can experience Teresa at her best and in her glory, and really have an appreciation and understanding of what she is doing for others. You can get your ticket and find out more information at artofconnectionsummit.com.